So for this video, I'm going to show you some examples of simplifying matrix expressions. So what I mean is, so I have these expressions. We're assuming A, B, C, and D are invertible. You can pause the video to read them over. So I actually have prepared nothing for this video. So I've done that because I want you to see how I think through this. And so the one thing that I think of the second I see, like, okay, I have a billion matrices and I have all these inverses and all this stuff. So the one thing I know is that I probably need a list of possibly useful properties about the inverse. And so this is a really good thing to get in the habit of with any type of questions when they have like a expression like this. So if you were talking about inverses, you'd want to have your list of inverses. If you're talking about the transpose, you'd want to use the transpose. So every time like you have to do something with this, you just need to know all of your properties with this, like boom. So that's going to be what makes or breaks you. So let's just jump into it. So when I look at this, so the first thing I think of is this looks kind of cumbersome. So I'm just going to think about my properties here. So if I wanted to re-express this, well, I can use this property here, right? And so to do that, so let's see, I will color code this so that you can kind of follow what I'm doing. So I'm not going to worry about the rest of this for right now. I'm just working on the thing that looks the weirdest. So to express this, this would become, so AB inverse is B inverse A inverse, and then also A inverse inverse, oh, I forgot to write that down. That would have been helpful. That will be equal to A. So, okay, so in this case then, this part here, so first I can flip the order, and then I'm taking the inverse of each inverse. So this is just going to be B, D, and then I'm going to write C inverse. Now, I am also allowed to drop all the parentheses except for this one right here, since I have this, I need to take an inverse, so I need to do an action to this. But for the rest of these, we know that matrices are associative, and so I can really, like, that gives me permission to put parentheses around matrices as I see fit, as long as they don't have like another action that I need to do to them. So I'm just going to rewrite this, and now we can kind of see, oops, now we can see that we can get some action here. So I can now tell by looking at this, so B and B inverse, those are going to drop out. Cool. All right, so now I'm kind of stuck. So now what I want to do is I would like to evaluate this part here. So again, just using this property, AB inverse equals B inverse A inverse. So let's see, let's focus on this part. So this is going to become C inverse A inverse. My B's dropped out, so here's what I'm left with. And so now I can see that my A and A inverse are going to drop out. So now I'm just left with C inverse times C inverse, and I can actually just rewrite that as C to the negative second. That's fine. So that would be the final answer in this case. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. So this one is kind of interesting to me because I've got AD inverse inverse and then AD inverse. So actually, like you do want to like kind of zoom out when you're looking at these. So while I do have this list of properties that I could just start grinding through, the thing I notice is that this literally says it's the inverse of this thing. So right away, these two things drop out. Hooray. So now I've got AD inverse inverse AB inverse. So if I try to go farther with this now, so let's see, obviously I would like to evaluate this because that's kind of the next thing that can be evaluated. So I'm going to just reverse the order and take the inverse. So D inverse inverse will just be D, and then this will be A inverse A B inverse. Now I can see these two drop out, so then I'm just left with D B inverse. And so yeah, so that's the name of that tune. So yeah, so you really just want, like, every time you have exercises, you need to know that list. And sometimes just having it in front of you so you can stare at it for a second and then decide how you're going to divide and conquer, I think is really your best bet. Okay, so if you found that helpful, I'd love it if you hit the like button or comment or subscribe to the channel. I love it when people subscribe. And otherwise, I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.